Alright, hi you guys, and today we'll be talking about the law of large numbers and the rules for means and variances. Okay, so the law of large numbers is large amount of numbers that you could actually have of something in there, and actually the more information you have, the more and more your data resembles a normal distribution plot, a normal standardized one. Okay, now the rules are, here you go. It's pretty simple. You can add the means together of two random variable sets. So, for example, if you have one variable set where you know the mean and then another one that you know the mean as well, you can add these two together for a new mean of a new set. Oh, that is an ugly mu. Okay, there we go. And this is how it's actually written, as mu sub x plus y. Okay, now you can add the variances together as well, and the variances are going to be represented by sigma squared. Okay, so you can take two variances and add them together, and you can get the new variance. Now, to get the new standard deviation, okay, you need to actually square root that once you do it. Now, I was puzzled about this when I first read it, or first learned about this when I was a student. I was like, why can't you add the standard deviations together? And here's the reason being. Okay, the means, all you're doing is you're just adding up a bunch more means together. It's a sum of a bunch of numbers divided by a number. So it's like, okay, yeah, you can add those together and kind of work your way around, and okay, that works. Alright, and then variances are the same thing. They're the sum of the square differences. Okay? So they're also, variance is like a fancier version of a mean. Okay? It's almost like your residual plot, not residual plot, but your residual amounts, and then you square it, and then you add them together, and then you divide by a certain amount. So when you add those together, you do it. But standard deviations have a square root, and square roots do the funniest things. Like for really, really small numbers, the number actually gets bigger when you square root it. Or if you square root a really large number, it goes smaller. So funky things happen with standard deviations because they are square roots. Okay, but because means and variances are it's summations of either just numbers or the differences between a number and a mean, whatever it is, for some reason that just works better, that you can actually add those together. Okay, as long as you remember these rules, it should be pretty standard for how it works for finding it. Now, what else can you do? Can you add some averages to it? Yes, you can. Like, for example, if you wanted to add an average to the mean, like, let's say, that if you add a number to each term, okay, what's going to happen? So let's say for your standard deviation, you wanted to add a constant a with everything. Does the standard deviation change? No. And if you remember back from the beginning of last semester, standard deviation is not affected when you add a number to each term. Now, if you only add a number to a couple terms, then it changes the spread. But if we add numbers to all the terms, the spreads basically stay the same. Okay? So that's a huge part right there. Now, if you multiply by something, once again, you can multiply numbers with the means and variances. You can add numbers with the means and variances, but you just cannot deal with the standard deviation. And this is the only exception to the rule of where you can actually do something with the standard deviation. All right, that's it for the law of large numbers and rules for the means and variances. I'll talk to you later. Bye.